Um, all right, so hi everybody, and welcome to the Add-ons community meeting for June 5th, 2019. We're joined today by Sylvain, BJ, and Andreas. So hi everybody, thanks for joining. I'm going to start off this meeting today by thanking Tim Nguyen, otherwise known as NTim, for his help reviewing a couple of PRs that have come in for Firefox Color. So thank you so much, NTim, we really appreciate that. We've got a couple of updates for this week, and I see we have a handful of questions, so I will do my best to answer those. And if I don't know the answers, we'll ping a couple of folks and make sure that we can get those answered. So as a quick bit of administrivia, there's going to be no community meeting on June 19th due to the Whistler All Hands, and I'm also going to be out on PTO. So no meeting on June 19th. Proposals are open for MozFest 2019. So MozFest is the Mozilla festival that the foundation hosts every year that brings together activists, technologists, people who love the internet. It's a really great event. There's one weekend that starts on a Friday and ends on a Sunday that's just jammed with really awesome sessions and interesting panels and cool make it yourself sessions. So if you'd like to submit a proposal for one of those sessions, the call for proposals is now open. There's also something called the MozFest House that's open for the week prior. So I think that opens on a Monday and runs until Friday. So there's all sorts of interesting sessions that you can host at the MozFest House too earlier in the week if you have a group or know that people are going to be in town. So if there's something that you're interested in hosting, go ahead and please go ahead and check out the call for proposals and get that submitted. Any questions about those two things? Okay, awesome. So Armageddon happened a month ago, which is crazy. It's been 30 days. So I just wanted to give a quick follow-up. I'm going to link to Ecker's blog post about what exactly went wrong and what we had to do to fix it. And also Joe Hildebrand's blog post. Neither of those are new pieces of communication. They both came out about a month ago during the weekend that the incident occurred. But it occurred to me that I hadn't actually provided any links there, so I'm just going to go ahead and add those there. We're still conducting a postmortem of everything that went wrong. So that's going to be handled probably by our upper management. So a lot of us, myself included, have been asked to give input about what exactly happened and how the response was. So it looks like we might be updating a couple of things just to make sure that if in the event that something like this happens, that we have kind of a clearer playbook to follow. I think everybody who stepped in and was involved that week did an awesome job. A lot of it was flying by the seat of our pants. So I just really appreciate everybody for jumping in and helping out. So thank you. So if you have any questions about anything else related to Armageddon, please feel free to let us know. We're kind of concerned with the follow-up pieces of how do we make sure that this doesn't happen again? And when we have a few clearer details about what that is, my goal is to share that out with this group. Sound good? Yeah, my feedback for Armageddon was let's never do this again. Okay, so the reason why we didn't have a community planning meeting about 2 weeks ago was because myself and Andreas and other members of our team, and in fact, everybody who works in product management for Firefox was involved in a week-long Q3 product planning meeting where every group kind of got up and presented what they were planning on working on in Q3. Oh, bye, Sylvain. Yeah, no worries. So I just wanted to share a little bit about a couple of the things that the Add-ons team is going to be working on. We're still continuing to work on some of the goals that we shared earlier in the year about making sure that the ecosystem is safe for our end users. Hold on one second, I just gotta grab my notes really quickly. So things that we're gonna be working on in Q3 are expanding the recommended extensions program and formally launching it. So the recommended extensions program is the program that's going to replace our current featured add-ons program. So recommended extensions are extensions that our editorial staff has determined meet the highest standards of usability, user experience, usefulness, user experience, and are also compliant with Mozilla's pretty high security and privacy standards. So basically what's going to happen with recommended extensions is anytime you see an extension recommended by a Mozilla property, so either on AMO or within Firefox through a contextual feature recommender or through an onboarding flow, all of those add-ons will be pulled from this recommended extensions program. We're going to denote these extensions with little recommended badges, and I'm going to get to that in a second, what that looks like. So we're going to start the list off with a couple hundred, we're going to start the recommended extensions group off with about 100 extensions, I think, and then we're thinking that it may grow to be 300 extensions, but it's kind of going to depend on how many we can handle. The other thing about recommended extensions, which may help address one of the questions in the doc, is that when a new version is submitted, the new version isn't going to be automatically deployed to users. It's going to have to go through admin review with Andreas's team. And when they sign off on it, then the update goes out. So we're going to be pulling auto approval on those particular extensions. The trade-off, we think, is that with a smaller group to kind of like handle and being able to plan for that our admin group can turn that around in a reasonable amount of time, so people aren't going to be waiting 4 months for an update. So while developers may have to wait a little bit to release a new update, we think that the exposure and via like our marketing channels is going to hopefully make it worth it for them. So we're going to be expanding that. The other thing is we all agree that it's really important. One of the things that we all really love about the current featured process is how strong the community involvement is in that. And that's something that we feel really strongly that we want to continue going forward. So we'll be integrating community with the recommended extensions program. It's going to look a little bit different from the current featured program just because we don't expect a lot of extensions to be coming in or off of the recommended list once they're there. But we're thinking that we could use some help doing like some early beta testing of updates that go out, kind of like continual usage of the products, like identification of areas to be improved. And again, like just to keep our eyes open for any extensions that we think should be added to the recommended list. It's going to be a little bit harder to get on that recommended list, but we do want to keep an eye out for new extensions that we think would be a good fit for that list. So that's the recommended extensions. The other thing is that we've been dealing with a lot of spam submissions on AMO. It's been kind of a pain. So we're going to be looking at doing some stuff that's hopefully going to help mitigate some of the spam submissions and continuing to work on our monitoring and our detection and takedown skills for malicious extensions. So that's going to also be happening in Q3. And if there's any, so like dealing with the spam, dealing with like all those like Flash add-ons that have been coming up, and just like generally improving kind of like our visibility into it is also on our list for Q3. Any questions? Okay. In non-safety news, we're also going to be migrating content that's specific to Firefox extension development over from MDN onto extensionworkshop.com. So we're calling this part phase 2. So the infrastructure for phase 2 right now is currently being built out. So in a couple weeks, we're going to start building out the actual content pages. So pretty much anything that is specific to Firefox or to AMO is going to be, sorry, I was looking at Xander's comment. Thank you, Sylvain. So anything, sorry, I completely lost my train of thought. Yeah, so all of that information will move over. Information about the APIs is going to remain on MDN because that's where we keep our cross-browser compatible information. It's a little bit more browser agnostic. Okay, any questions about Q3?
How will it work to get around the spam? Will it, if the submission goes against a certain threshold, it will not get automatic approved and signed? Do you know yet, or?
Do you know, Andreas? I don't think I have. We do have submission throttled at the moment, which is catching some things, but I'm actually not sure about like the technical solution to. I'm not familiar with the technical solutions being proposed. Maybe, yeah, Andreas.
Sure. So for specifically dealing with spam being listed on IMO, we're currently looking at a couple of different approaches we can take. Nothing has been decided yet. Ideas are that we are delaying auto approval based on certain criteria, or make our content review process a little stricter, that add-ons have to go through content review first before they are approved for the first time. Those are just ideas at the moment. We haven't decided anything yet. And if you have any other ideas, we are very welcome, very happy to hear them. Please, you're welcome to reach out to us and let us know. Suggest your ideas. We'd love to hear them.
All right.
True story. Yeah. Yeah, cool. So speaking about the recommended extensions program, so what's going to happen is when you search on AMO or you look at a category page on AMO, you're going to see the extensions that are part of the recommended program filtered to the top. So those are going to be weighted higher in search. They're going to be denoted with a little badge, and that badge is going to link to an article that we're going to host on Sumo, on the Sumo website, kind of explaining what the recommendation program is. This is going to go live with Firefox 68, so this is going to be sometime next month. So we're working on the Sumo article now, but you can take a look at what this looks like on Dev right now. So this is kind of a preview about what it's going to look like. So right now we're in the category page. So you can see the little recommended badge and the fake link right now. And then when you go and you take a look at the detail on the, so what we call the product page, so you can see the little badge up here at the top, and that's going to link to that article too. Also, I just think this is funny. So yeah, so you can check that out on Dev right now. I think it's moving to Stage soon. Actually, sorry, we talked about this and I don't remember the details. But right now it's currently on Dev, so it'll be going through the normal AMO deployment process of moving from Dev to Stage and then later on to production. We're also gonna, yeah. Sorry, I was going to say something and then I just realized I needed to double check before. I think that you might also see the badge in Add-ons Manager, but I'm actually not 100% sure that's true. So let me follow up, unless Andreas knows the answer, because Andreas's memory is better than mine is.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think in the future, what we show in the Add-ons Manager, oh, you mean like in the list of installed add-ons, or in the...
Yeah,
I don't know about that. I don't think we show it there.
Okay, cool. Or maybe the disco pane, I'm not really sure. So my apologies, y'all, for opening my mouth when I did not know the answer. I did not know if what I was saying was true or not.
So for the disco pane, we'll only show add-ons that are coming from the recommended pool, as far as I know. So they might not show the recommended badge, but as far as I know, there won't be any non-recommended items in there at some point in the future.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense, because that's one of our marketing channels. Okay, so finally, I wanted to give an update about the all hands, which is the reason for why our next community meeting is being canceled. So the Mozilla has a biannual all hands. This year, we're only having one because we're offsetting the schedule for starting next year. So that is going to be happening the week of June 15th in Whistler. We are not anticipating having any public team meetings that people can remotely participate in or follow along with the notes. I am going to ask Philip and Amy if they can take some notes in some of the meetings where like maybe we like are planning stuff for the future so that we can get we can publish some summaries of what happens in those meetings. As far as I know, the all of the plenaries will be available on Air Mozilla if you are an NDA'd contributor. So if your Mozillian's profile has been vouched for and you are part of the NDA group, you should be able to access the recordings of those sessions. If you are not a member of that group and you would like to be, please contact me and I will walk you through the process of how we can get you up and running on that. So that's, I will not be in Whistler because of a previous family commitment. So if you ask me for notes, I will do my best to hook you up with someone. But unfortunately, I cannot make any promises about being able to get back to you really quickly with accurate information. Okay, that was all of my updates. Any questions about any of that stuff we just covered? Okay, awesome. So I see we have some questions down in the questions section. So we're going to start with BJ's. Is there an easy way to tell if an add-on has descriptions in multiple languages? I'm actually not sure. On the back end, it's on the back end you can go in and like localize it. You can check the localizations from a drop-down menu and just see if anything is there. But I'm actually not sure if there's an easy way to check that from the front end.
When I do a review, now that I know there are multiple language versions, I have no idea if I'm reviewing what people are going to be seeing. So it's hard to really say this is good content. And I've had confusion where I asked someone to fix something and they reject it because they didn't do it. And they come back and said I did it, but they were looking at the Spanish language version. And I was looking at the US English version, which actually was in Spanish as well. He didn't realize he had to update both.
Oh.
So I like to look at all of them just so I can make sure I'm actually reviewing the content.
Okay, content review issues. Let me poke around a little bit. I don't have an answer off the top of my head, but maybe it's possible that somebody from the AMO engineering team might know a shortcut that we can look into.
Great, thank you.
Okay. What you can certainly use is, well, you can change the locale on the public product page. But of course, that doesn't tell you beforehand whether an add-on is localized to that locale or not, and which locales it is localized to. We don't have that publicly available, and it's also not available in the reviewer pages. I can tell you that we have in the admin backend a very rudimentary overview of that, where all the localized strings are being shown. It is super hard to read. And I think we'll have to discuss amongst the content reviewers and probably end with Caitlin making the decision at the end whether we should expose something like that to the reviewer pages. It could be useful, but I think we need more discussion about that.
Great.
Okay. Thanks, Andreas. Okay, and then we have another question from Sylvain about won't this auto approval disabled switch for recommended extensions overwhelm the admins over time?
It's been answered. Thanks, Katie.
Oh, it's been answered? Oh, excellent. Yeah, hopefully it won't overwhelm them.
And if not, Caitlin gets to help out.
Yeah, and then that's when they just let Caitlin start approving or unapproving things, which we all know is terribly wrong. Okay. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up and discuss or share? Okay, awesome. Then I think we're gonna call it a meeting. Thanks again for joining us. I won't see you in 2 weeks, so I look forward to catching up with y'all again in July. Thanks, everybody, and take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.